Hello folks, how you doing there? This is Frankie Day again. Thank you very much for tuning in on my YouTube video number 2. I'd like to make a couple apologies on my first YouTube, as I was pretty nervous and I didn't know what to do, so I had a brain freeze a while ago trying to explain a couple things. I just didn't prepare myself, plus being nervous, so it's like being on the stage, you know, you get a little stage, when you get over the stage fright the first time, everything else, piece of cake. So I'm pretty relaxed today, and co-star did too. Okay, this is Monogram B-17 Build Report number 2. As I took off from the first YouTube I done, I went ahead and painted the squadron colors on my Chowhound B-17. There's a story behind this kit right here. I didn't explain quite well in my first YouTube presentation. I had plans of making it the ditto lace, and I was going to use kitchen Reynolds wrap tinfoil, and I was going to use that for a finish, but unfortunately we ran out. So I saw, what the hey, I got 4 more of these in the stash, so perhaps maybe one day I may venture to that kind of color schedule for that B-17. But for the update today for this one here is I went ahead, as you can see behind me, I painted the red area on the tail using Model Master Guards Red, and the wingtips been painted, and also the tail section's been painted, and those were the squad identification colors used. I have a basing born in England, and this is Mr. Jerry Newquist's ship. When he did his first 30 missions over in England, he came back to the States, and his ship was taken over by another crew and it was lost. So probably shot down. Highly likely is probably what happened. But anyway, this is the one I'm modeling right here. I got a lot of work to do on it. I got a few more things, and I'd like to explain what I've done to it so far. I started my YouTube presentation on a later stage during the final finishes of finishing up. I didn't think about having a full build report on this thing, you know, until about getting on YouTube. I just had a fast whim. Hey, I'm gonna get on YouTube. Everybody else does it. Thank God I got a webcam in my computer. I don't like it too good. I like to have a regular camera where I can have a little freedom of movement, so you fellas get a lot more better view of what I'm doing. So that's around the corner for me on the agenda. Perhaps maybe next week I'll have a good web camera I can put in here, and the lighting here sucks, you know. I got one in my face right now. I feel like a cop's got a flashlight in my face. But other than that, lighting's pretty good here now. On the kit, I'd like to explain a couple things on it before we get underway. On this kit, there's a word of caution. This thing is, like I say, the molds of this model is really taking its toll. This thing has been in production since 1975, so do the math. It's over 30 years this thing's been in production. It has never stopped. They just completely make molds, make molds, make molds, make molds. They just keep on producing them. You got to realize this wear and tear is like anything. The molds need maintenance. They need to be retooled, because there's a lot of fit issues in this kit. Before, when it first came out, there was no fit issues at all. The biggest fit issue in this kit is the fuselage, joining in the fuselage, because there's a gap. It wants to lip over, and you try to bring it over this way, there's a little bit of a gap. But like I say, you got to dry fit it first and see what needs to be done. But it's always best to do one section of the fuselage for gluing on it, make sure it's mated perfectly, then you can make the other side. The best thing I use is this right here. Is ACC glue, cyanide. This is what I use. There's other brands out there. There's Jet, Crazy Glue, you name it, it's out there. This works best. But like most models do, the interior has always been painted first before you join the fuselage. It has together. But it's always a good rule of thumb taking the back of your number 11 blade and scraping alongside the fuselage. Remove that paint because the glue will not stick to paint. This stuff here will not stick to paint. Polyurethane cement, styrene won't stick to paint. It'll stick a little bit, but it'll break off in time. It'll come off. So you don't want that happening, especially when you're paying good money for a good model. You want to make sure you get to use the best glue that there is to keep it from coming apart. And there's other good glue here too, like I showed too, I use also. It's also too found in good bottle shops nearby your neck of the woods. It is Ambroid Pro Well. This stuff is good stuff. This stuff here works real good, and it dries just like that. And if you don't have none of that, you got the old American Standby testers. Don't be bashful when you use this stuff. Don't use it sparingly. Make sure that whole fuselage is completely glued on there. You got a lot of glue on there to keep that fuselage together. Once you make the fuselage, once you're satisfied how they mate, you'll see a weep joint come up out of there. When it does, don't move that weep joint. That's part of the plastic being dissolved by using the cement because it's got toluene in it. And this toluene is the agent that causes plastic to meld together. And once it's dried, you can take your sandpaper and sand that weep joint out and go ahead and use your filler putty. A lot of people use Durante, Green Magic, Squadron putty. This is what I use. This is called Bondo glazing putty. It's found at O'Reilly's, Myers. Sometimes it's found at Ace Hardware stores, but mostly automotive stores. I'm not going to caution, this stuff's expensive. At one time, this stuff was $2.50 a tube. Now that's a weeping $6 now. When will it ever end? Who knows? That's what I use. Also, too, another good tip too. I had a brain freeze on my first YouTube presentation I did using masks for the windows like that. This is what I use. I use Eileen's tacky glue. This stuff here is good stuff. This is used for card models. I'm a card modeler, and I build plastic too. And I'd like to show you one of my card model B-17s I built. I built from scratch. This is 1/48 scale. This is B-17G. Excuse my back, folks. This is a card model of a B-17. The Squadron I'm not known of. It's probably some stateside job or something. But this is a card model made from paper. It's 1/48 scale. Same scale as my Monogram B-17. By comparison. Same thing. I built that from scratch on paper. This right here is an aftermarket part. I forgot where I got it from. I got the ball turret too. I made from paper too, using packing tape for the windows. I use packing tape for the cockpit too. And the aftermarket parts that I bought sent away for, which is supposed to be the replacement part for the 148 B-17 scale B-17 nose piece. It's a replacement part. Same thing with the turret. There's only two things I use on this model that didn't come with this. So this is a paper kit. I built this from scratch, and it's different. But other than that, that's the basics what I've done to this so far. And there's a lot of work to do on it. I got propellers I got to paint up. I got tires I got to paint up. The tires were a mess. I mean, they was flashing all over the place. I had to take a knife and move all the flashes I can and take a jeweler's file and file down the seams of both tires and remove Excuse me, folks. Just had a blackout or something. Anyway, I had to take a jeweler's file and smooth down all the flash off the tires and glue them together. And I used wet sandpaper, 320 wet and dry, and got rid of the seam. So next thing I do, I got to paint that and take out the treads in it. Got wing walks put on, transparency, the icer boots, decals, guns, and she's pretty well wrapped up. And I'll probably go on to something else. But anyway, folks, I appreciate you guys coming down to me, just watching me on my YouTube, and thanks for tuning in, folks. I appreciate it. And like I say, my first one was a disaster. I didn't know what to say, what to do. I was unprepared. It caught me with my pants down. So I got my pants up now. So all it is, we're all people here, and we're all modelers, and all humans. So to be humans, be air. That's why they got erasers on pencils. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in, and please have a very joyous, safe 4th of July. And please, you guys don't need drinking like that. Have somebody take you home. It's not worth it. Go down the road loaded. Cops pull you over. That can change a man's life just like that. You don't want to go there. So please have a safe 4th of July. And thank you for tuning in. My next YouTube would be number 3. So this concludes Monogram B-17 Build Report number 2. Thanks, folks. Bye-bye.